What is going on, guys? And of course, with the first season of Daredevil Born Again now officially wrapped, we pretty much now have 4 seasons in of Daredevil to pretty much talk about. This has, of course, been one of the greatest shows that have, greatest comic book TV shows that has ever pretty much dawned our screens. And yeah, with that, let's get started with this ranking, shall we? Coming in at number fourth place for me personally is going to be season one. Now, don't get me wrong, there's still none of these seasons are horrible. Um, it's just that the ones that I have above it are a little bit more, intense, and more a bit more better seasons. But season one of Daredevil was still a pretty good season. Of course, you had that badass hallway fight scene in episode two that was badass, and like that was awesome. Like that scene where you had to go save the kid, and you were just kicking all those guys' asses in the hall in the one badass one shot take. And of course, you have really great performances. Of course, Charlie Cox's Daredevil, Vincent D'Onofrio's Kingpin, and oh yeah, and that fight at the end of the season as well between Daredevil and Kingpin was pretty awesome. So yeah, season one. Uh, Again, it's just I have the 3 seasons, of course, above it. That is pretty much the reason as to why, it's only number four on my list. Coming in at number three for me is going to be season three. Of course, this was the introduction of Benjamin Poindexter Bullseye, of course, and you had some really great fight scenes. Of course, all 3 fight scenes between Daredevil and Bullseye, and you pretty much had the whole storyline of pretty much Bullseye dressing up like Daredevil to pretty much like think that he's the one that's saving the city, but when in reality he's not. And you have just really great heartfelt emotional scenes in the season as well, like with like whenever Bullseye's girlfriend gets killed by Kingpin, and of course you have that badass final fight scene between Kingpin, Daredevil, and Bullseye. That was just so awesome and badass. And of course, so yeah, season three for me is still pretty good. But yeah, though, season three, pretty good season. But overall, my top two pretty much reign supreme. With that, my number two, Daredevil season two. This is, of course, the season where they brought in John Bernthal as the Punisher, and they also brought in Elektra. And so, of course, you have awesome badass sequences. Of course, every time that John Bernthal Punisher is on screen in season two, you are just glued in, just locked in this season. And of course, you have badass action sequences as well, like between Daredevil and Punisher, Daredevil and Elektra. No, yeah, there's a whole lot of plot lines and plot. Yeah, you could say the season's pretty much all over the place, like with stick and hand and all that stuff. But still, you have really great uh, just just fight scenes in this movie. No, I mean in the season. Of course, you have Punisher, of course, taking on those prison guards, which that was awesome and cool. And you also pretty much have and you pretty much also have pretty much all the stuff with Elektra and all that stuff and her death, and of course Punisher showing up to pretty much help Daredevil out. And you have that badass speech that Punisher gives in episode 4 about how his family got killed. Seriously, season 2 of Daredevil, badass season. But coming in at my number one for me, Daredevil Born Again. This season was just this season, like it was really great. Gave me everything that I could ever ask for as a Daredevil fan. Of course, you guys could pretty much check out all my Daredevil Born Again episode reviews that I did on my channel. And yeah, this season, well, of course, with it, of course, finally being in the full-on MCU, we get really great storylines and stuff with these characters. Of course, you have Daredevil and his whole like, should I suit up again after what, or like or like should I not? And you have, of course, Kingpin le- pretty much leaving the whole like crime world pretty much behind until, of course, you get to the end of the season and he is just fully back as Kingpin again. Just so many great action scenes as well in this season. Of course, you had Daredevil versus Bullseye and Daredevil versus Muse. Now, yeah, everybody was pretty much complaining that the whole Muse storyline kind of didn't really get, that fleshed out, which I understand. But hey though, which I do get, I do understand, but for me, I was okay with it. And yeah, I know sidelining characters like Foggy and Karen. I don't want to get into it if you haven't seen the season yet. However, if you have, you guys, of course, already know what happens at the beginning of the season. So yeah, I do. However, the new characters that they do bring them, of course, I was never. It was, of course, great to have Matt pretty much with some of these new characters, like White Tiger or his new girlfriend, Heather. Um, but yeah, you could pretty much tell it by the end of it, not really much of the whole. None of the newer characters pretty much had much to do. Also, you had the whole corrupt cop storyline, which that was badass. Seriously, like that final episode. I don't know why, but maybe that's why the season kind of gets bumped up to my number one for me. It's because of that badass Daredevil and Punisher just team up again, and of course, so just seriously, just every time, and I mean, just seriously, like that last episode was just filled with so much great stuff, and of course, leaves it off to a point to where, yeah, like you're excited for Born Again season 2. You immediately want to click. Like, trust me, if season 2 came out now, I would be clicking play on that bitch right now. But so yeah, Daredevil Born Again for me comes in at my number one. Let me know what you guys think about all 4 seasons of Daredevil down below in the comments. Don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe as always for more videos. And do not forget to hit that bell icon so that way you guys get notified whenever I upload brand new videos. How would you guys rank the seasons? And with that, I will be seeing you guys later. Peace out. And yeah, can't wait for Daredevil Born Again season 2 next year. Can't wait. Yeah. Hell yeah.